she told me I had already fairly progressed far enough through meditation and observance of certain cosmic laws that they discerned that I was deserving of closer sightings and contacts from themselves and their ships. And then she made a prediction, and she told me the next time I came back, she was going to be appearing again in her ship, and she was going to be performing these aerial movements in the sky that I could capture on my video. And sure enough, a month later, I went back out, and her ship appeared, and she started putting on these aerial shows in the sky, and I got it all on video. And she started zigzagging all around in the sky, doing all these unconventional aerial movements in her triangular craft. She pilots a smaller triangular craft, 35 feet. These triangular craft are the most incredible ships that I've...
Is there like a mothership, and she's just in the one, like, I guess, like, it'd be like the shuttle?
Yeah.
Like Star Trek, she has the smaller version, you know, where they go out do the exploratory thing or whatever?
Absolutely. A small, like, little reconnaissance craft that she has. It's incredible. And these things can maneuver so fast that, just to give you an example, I had a couple come up and interview me on one of my trips to Pine Bush last September, and they were doing an interview with me on documentary film on my sightings and my contact. His name is Bill Hussong from New York, and anyway, him and his girlfriend came out and they interviewed me. We went out he told me previously that he went out for 6 times to look for the ships, and he saw nothing. And then the very night he went out with me, all the ships came out, and they stayed out for like 2 hours. They just kept appearing all over the horizon, and he was completely astounded at that. And anyway, one of the my Orion Contactee girl, Athena, she brought her ship in, and she did the most incredible aerial movement I had ever seen to date. And what she did was she stopped, and then she just started zigzagging in the sky, but it was a form of teleportation where the ship was seen simultaneously in 2 places in a split second at the same time. I don't know how she did this, but these crafts can move in quantum faster than light travel. It was unbelievable, and I have this on video. It's up on those links on those websites. It's called UFO.
I got just one question for you. This is just because I just have a feeling what it is. They move in as opposed to being propelled, they're like being pulled. Like they create their propulsion from front of them, not from behind of them. So they're like it's almost because it's going. They can create their own wormholes and go through a different spatial and therefore go beyond the speed of light.
Absolutely. I don't know how it works. I really don't, because I mean, I don't understand all these cosmic laws yet. But
yeah, because I'm just the reason why I'm saying this because you remind me of somebody else I know of that. When you see, like, people see them, then they go, where did it go? It disappeared and zigzags. And people were still thinking, you know, like, oh, we got to have a propeller in the back or a jet that pushes you along, but they don't realize it's like the old, till we figured out that, you know, people don't realize a plane doesn't fly or it flies not because the wind hits from underneath it, it's because the loss of the pressure from above, and basically that's how they move. They create a space in front of them that's literally sucked ahead, and they've already got...
Yeah, it's kind of like a vacuum. And in fact, when these ships fly over, they sound... A lot of people that see when they come out... when they came out, we saw the triangular ship would fly over, and she goes, it sounds like a jet. And I said, I know, it does, but it's also... They use a vacuum principle in these triangular craft. It's a vacuum. It may sound a little similar to like a high-powered jet, but it's not. I've heard the more triangular form. They have a tachyon. Their generators in these craft are tachyons. They're self-replenishing, and their ships are run on some kind of crystalline structure that is self-replenishing. So the energy is constantly self-replenished. They don't need gas, or they don't need any of these kinds of fluid. Well, they do have some kind of hydrodynamical fluids that they use, like mercury probably, and titanium, liquid oxygen, titanium, and hydrogen, and things like this. So it's based on a very high physics of like hydrodynamics that I don't hardly understand anything about, but I do know enough that they also use a vacuum type of principle with their engines or their generators in the craft. So when you hear these triangular ships fly over, many times you'll hear a vacuum type of sound. So when you're talking about they create a vacuum, I would highly agree with you that they do create some kind of vacuum. And when I mean vacuum, it's not like air. It's more like in a quantum physics form of vacuum. Oh yeah. Well, I think it's
So, but getting off, I don't want to get off.
Yeah, sure.
But when you've gotten in contact, I understand that you've been doing like getting basically through meditation at first, and we talked about getting your vibrations up, and but then I know you had mentioned that there's a certain protocol that has to be done in order to facilitate for your ability to be able to mentally, or you want to call it your psyche, to be able to even be near them, even on a physiological situation where you were like 10 feet away.
Absolutely.
What is the protocol that you need to do, or if you're able to disclose that?
Yeah. Okay. This is it, and I want to say this emphatically and announce it because it's very, very true. And anybody considering contact with extraterrestrials has to undergo this kind of protocol, and it involves reaching a level near approximate with the aliens' mental vibrations themselves, at least their feeling vibrations as well, because these beings, in fact, I mean, she told me the whole reason why I was being granted this was because I had already fairly progressed. These were her exact words. I had already fairly progressed far enough through meditation and observance of certain cosmic laws, which, of course, are, the laws that are known universally throughout the universe, such as like Hermes, the 7 axioms of Hermes, or something like that from ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is vibration, the laws of creation, and things like this. Because I had already really paid a lot of attention to this and understood it, she told me that's why they considered me, making me a contact material. So I'm really an experiment. They're considering I am a preliminary contactee at the moment. I have seen them. They have.
And there's others like yourself that they've been in contact with too.
Yeah, but they haven't told me who.
Yeah.
But there's many different alien races that.
No, I'm saying of the same Orions. They've been in contact with many others.
Oh, I'm sure.
Doing this facility. Well, I think there's a reason why they're facilitating it. But go ahead.
So yeah, they.
Sorry.
It's all right. What they're trying to do is they're trying to reveal, because they're trying to show that what is revealed through contact, what it's all about, is basically from the highest to the lowest, from the lowest back to the highest, as above, so below. So what's going on with them, has to happen with us someday. So we're going to evolve to a state where they are now, and they are going to evolve far beyond that and become gods. And ultimately, the ultimate goal for all of us is to come into all the most complete knowledge that is offered in the universe, in this particular galaxy. And we're all supposed to evolve back to the very center of the galaxy. Supposedly, from what I understand from these alien races, which is part of the cosmic universal laws, is that all of our spirits first originated in the very center of our galaxy in a massive swirl of eternal light that is part of the central sun that these aliens talk about. Many of these different alien races talk about the very center of our galaxy. There's the most huge body, and it's called the central sun, and it's the actual beginning point of every bit of creation throughout our whole galaxy. And supposedly this is where we all started from